Hello everybody, my name is Dratnos, and in today's video we have an update to the patch notes that are coming in this reset. So if you haven't seen it, I have a video up with longer discussion of the patch notes, a lot of stuff in there. This is an update in addition to those. So any note that isn't mentioned in these patch notes is still happening. But we start off with Beast Mastery. So pet damage being increased by 4% is gone, but all damage is now being increased by 8%, and all damage dealt by pets and summons is also being increased by 8%. So this is not going to double dip. This is just all damage from you and your pets. It's not like your pets are getting 8% twice or anything like that. But one of the things that was happening for BM was they nerfed Basilisk Collar by a substantial amount, and that meant that this was going to be a pretty large single target nerf to BM in addition to a small AoE buff that was coming in this reset. And it looks like they're trying to make this less of a net nerf to single target and more of an AoE buff, which is good. BM AoE was absolutely awful. So here are the dev notes for this. We corrected an issue with Beast Mastery changes, which previously excluded the baseline aura buff for both the hunters and their pets. We've also adjusted the values for the baseline buff up to better reach our target goals. Our intended tuning is intended to be relatively neutral for single target while increasing AoE performance, which is behind where it should be. So basically, let's buff all their numbers and then let's nerf their biggest single target increase, right? And by doing that, we're buffing their AoE while holding their single target constant. I don't know if this accomplishes that. I think it probably does. I mean, this is a lot more damage than this was. So their single target, it may still end up being a slight nerf. I mean, Basilisk Collar was huge. That's still a large nerf to that, but I think it's probably pretty close to neutral there. I don't know if this is enough to make their AoE at all interesting, though. There are other buffs in there as well for AoE that I think, I don't know. The spec definitely needed a lot of help for doing any kind of reasonable amount of AoE. All right, Holy Paladin. They've reverted the 5% healing reduction. Hooray! This was a pretty misguided nerf, I think, and I'm glad to see them remove it. They are fixing a bug that caused Dawnlight to not have its healing reduced beyond 5 targets. Hooray! Also good. That was a bug. And there were some fights where this would do a lot of healing, and some fights where it didn't do a lot of healing. And I think it's really good to fix this spec in this way. And they're increasing Dawnlight's healing by 30% now that it's only going to heal the correct number of targets. So after continued feedback and further review on performance, we've decided to revert the planned Holy Paladin nerf for October 8th weekly reset. Additionally, we're correcting the bug with Dawnlight and compensating with a buff to its healing to keep its value in raid close to its current performance while giving it increased performance in 5-party group content. Great. Holy Paladin's I think it's one of the lowest performing healers in M+ right now, and it's doing okay in raid, but in a lot of cases it was doing okay in raid off of this bug looking pretty good on some fights. And yeah, this I think is going to be a lot healthier. Definitely glad to see this healing nerf reverted for Holy Paladin. And then finally we have a couple of new changes here, which is hero talents for Deathstalker. Follow the Blood now requires 2 targets afflicted with Rupture. It was 3, so that's a buff. And Subtlety is going to get an AoE damage increase, with Black Powder being increased by 35%. So a little bit of an AoE increase to sub on top of this that was not previously planned for. Overall, I would say A+ update to the tuning changes. You know, when they came out, the change that I was most skeptical of was this Holy Paladin nerf. It's being reverted. Great. The BM change, I know, met with a lot of outcry from BM hunters, and I think it's probably good that they don't get quite as much of a single target nerf as it was slated to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's still a slight single target nerf, although I haven't done the numbers on that. But I do think that even if it's a small one, if it's a big AoE buff, you know, the spec did a lot of single target as well. It's okay to nerf BM single target by a little bit, I guess. But yeah, this is overall a fantastic update to the class tuning changes, and really excited to see it. Really excited to see them respond to this feedback that I think was coming from a lot of sources about the Holy Paladin. I saw a lot of talk about the Holy Paladin one around the community, so, you know, anytime you hear people be like, oh yeah, Blizzard just, you know, they don't listen, they don't know what's going on, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, you know, they've got 39 specs, each of which have 2 hero talents to balance all that stuff. Sometimes they're going to make these changes initially that look a little sketchy, and I think it's really encouraging that sometimes if there's something that gets a lot of outcry that's clearly kind of wrong, they'll end up coming back and making a good update to that one. So I'm pretty optimistic seeing these changes in particular. Let me know what you think, though. Let me know if there's something even more egregious that was in this set of notes that you think, you know, should have gotten some more attention or something like that as well, or what you're hoping to see next, how you're feeling about your spec, your hero talents, all that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.